Hello, soul sister. Welcome to Midlife Love Out Loud, your one-stop love shop where I bring on beautiful, amazing guests like John Gray to help you have extraordinary love in this chapter of your life. Let me tell you a little bit about John Gray, just in case you've been living under a rock for a while. John Gray, and thank you so much for being here, John. I'm so blown away by your generosity with your time, with everything that you do. Like, it's so great. Thank you. John Gray, he is the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I'm sure you've heard of it. It has been around for a while. It is one of the most trusted relationship books of all time. And he's written a lot of other books, including a recent one, Beyond Mars and Venus. Bottom line is, this is the man that really helps us understand how we're wired as women and how men are wired so that we can actually come together and have healthy, happy, and hot partnerships. So without further ado, again, John, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to share you and your wisdom here.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure. It's a pleasure.
So good. So good. Okay. So I would love to start with a little bit of something personal with you. And I know that you said it was okay to ask. John, you were in a long-term relationship with a beautiful partner, and she passed a few years ago, and you took a couple of years off and started over. And so many of the women here that are listening are starting over and don't necessarily know how a man views starting over and what are some of the pitfalls they sometimes struggle with and how they can start over and find the love of their life. So I was wondering if you might want to share a little bit about your process when it comes to mourning and opening again to love.
Well, that's a huge subject. And we have limited time, so I'll try to be to the point of what I feel is useful or helpful.
Thank you.
Statistically, just to understand what I tend to see and have read about is women on average in starting over wait 9 years.
Oof.
And men on average wait 3 years. These are to get married, for men to get married. And for women, it's 9 years if they get married, but a lot don't. And it's a very challenging experience for women and less challenging for men in most cases.
Why is that? Like, what's the difference between men and women?
Men are primarily driven by sex, and you can only have sex with a partner, a woman, whereas women are driven primarily by love.
Yeah.
And you can love a man. You can also love your pet. You can love your children. You can love your garden. You can love God. You can love so many ways to experience love, but not any other way to experience the sex. So,
yeah.
But sex, although many women, and you have to remember, there's always exceptions to everything I say, is not the prime directive throughout their life. And for men, it is. Yeah. It's a part of the brain which controls sex, is twice as big in men, and it's not directly linked to love, but it is the doorway for men to feel love. If you think about men as these protectors, they go out into danger. We're talking about thousands of years. We are not as connected to our emotions as much as women, although modern men are different, but still these prime directives are a time where men were not in touch with their softness, their tenderness. To be a warrior, for example, to kill the enemy, even to kill animals and whatever, you couldn't be so soft and tender. And you couldn't let fear control you. You had to go out and do it. You couldn't complain. You just had to endure. So it's a different reality. Whereas women, to nurture a child, you have to anticipate what is that child feeling and what are they experiencing? And that awakens an ability to feel. So you can feel love for a child. You can feel love for a man. You can feel love for your life, feel love for yourself. Whereas men typically don't feel as much as women, even though there's exceptions to this. And this is when men are way out of balance, actually. If you look at biologically, there's so much confusion around gender that I have to always preface our whole conversation by knowing, I'll do it shortly, although I elaborate this in great detail in the book over here to my right, which is Beyond Mars and Venus, my book on relationship. And in there, I point out the simple knowledge that for men to feel well-being, they have this hormone testosterone has to increase. and it has to be at least 10 times more than a woman's.
Wow.
And to commit to her, then it has to double. So now if you look at statistically, as men get older, their testosterone levels are going down. So there's less of an imperative to commit unless in the presence of a woman, his testosterone goes up. That's how he bonds with her. Now, for a woman, the way she bonds primarily is when her estrogen goes up in his presence. And estrogen goes up when you feel, oh, I'm so happy to see you. I delight in your presence. I'm glad to spend this time with you. Without you, I would feel very lonely. I need a man in my life. Now, I know for a lot of women, they kind of go, well, no, I'd like to have a man in my life, but actually, I need a man in my life. So you have to kind of define what you need a man for.
So true.
And you see, when you go to a doctor, you need to get his advice and his support. That produces the hormone estrogen. When you go to a counselor, talk about your feelings and explore things out loud, that produces estrogen. So women come to me and I get them to talk about their feelings. And even if I don't give them any solutions, they feel better.
Right. And the tears start flowing and they feel connected and heard.
Yes. Connected is the word there, because when you feel heard and seen and understood, what's happening biologically is your estrogen is going up. And when estrogen goes to about 10 times higher than a man's healthy level, 10 times higher, your stress levels go down and you feel good. You feel good. You love yourself, you love others, and so forth. It's like you have to constantly keep that estrogen up. And now if you're over 50, there's already another challenge, which is there's a tendency of estrogen to be much lower after you go through menopause.
Absolutely.
But the good news is that your adrenal gland can produce enough estrogen for you to be happy and fulfilled and have a great sex life. It's just you needed higher levels of estrogen when you were younger because your body was still trying to make a baby, okay, or could make a baby. So, but once you're beyond that, you don't need as high level, but you need the right balance of hormones. See, that's the key. It's a balance. Your adrenal gland can make the hormones you need to be in a romantic relationship. So, but basically to fall in love with a man, because there's, I talk to a lot of women in their 50s and 60s and so forth, and they go, yeah, I'm dating men, but they don't give me that excitement. I want that excitement.
Right, he's a nice guy. I just am not feeling it. And I don't understand why.
That's the major thing. So that's because your estrogen levels in the presence of that man are not doubling, because that's where women bond with a man romantically at any age, is when your healthy estrogen level, which when you're older, is going to be lower, but still it's your healthy level. It needs to double. It needs to be something special about him, as opposed to he's just a nice guy. So, but I don't have that. It doesn't ignite me. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't make me feel happy. So that is purely biological. Okay. Purely biological. So a solution to this challenge is to minimize the expression of testosterone in your body, because testosterone tends to go with lowering estrogen. And high estrogen for men tends to lower their testosterone. So you're dealing with a lot of men who are all over 50. Statistically in our country, America, in our modern days, a man's testosterone at 50 is half what it was when he was a young man. Now I'm 70, mine's 50% higher. Because fantastic. It really is a fantastic life I live. I'm more on my male energy than I've ever been in my life. To enjoy the romance. Because again, for men, when their testosterone goes high, they tend to become selfless. They tend to be empathetic. They tend to be caring. They're supportive. That's if his testosterone is going up and he's in a loving relationship.
So what happened to you though? Like how did you get yours to be so much higher? Is it because of the relationships you're in and you're just like, oh, this is feeling so good and I'm feeling that deep love, or were there other factors for you?
Well, there's a lot of factors. I'm kind of an outlier here because I've studied this for 50 years and I know a lot about masculinity and femininity. But the bottom line is that when I'm in the presence of a woman, my testosterone level doubles if I'm in a monogamous relationship and I love her dearly. So this is, you see, part of a testosterone production is commitment.
Got it.
One of the challenges for women today, and we'll come back to her own personal challenges, but with the men out there, if they're single, they tend to be doing porn. And porn lowers testosterone. It's as simple as that. And but you can overcome this if in your presence, you have a ability to raise testosterone in a man, and then he bonds with you. So the dynamic there is when you're happy and you know it and you're feeling good, that's your baseline estrogen level.
Yeah.
But in order for a man to take you higher, and that's where you'll feel he's special, and that's where he'll feel you're special, there's a interrelatedness. And you asked me about my journey after Bonnie died, devastating to my testosterone crashed. Okay. So, because I was powerless to save her. She had cancer. She had DNA issues, broken BRCA genes.
So sorry.
And it was very, very, very genetic. We did a lot of stuff to try to help it, and I just watched nothing working. So anyway, I was devastated. I was optimistic the whole time we're going to get through this, and then, on an emotional level, I felt like I failed. Now the reality is, I did the very best, and she appreciated it and loved me, and it was a beautiful experience. But that feeling of powerlessness triggered the deepest levels of inadequacy and powerlessness. And by being able to go back using emotional healing techniques, going back and reliving the times in my life when truly I was powerless and I felt hurt and abandoned and powerless and so forth. By going back at those times, I could feel the emotions of that time. Because see, when we're upset right now, always 90% of what anything's really upsetting you. And I was devastated. And this applies to men and women. Anytime you're devastated by something, 90% of that devastation is the accumulation of devastation of a lifetime. So
exactly.
All these moments. So that's the foundation of therapy, which is anything you're upset about, you're really overreacting, but it's understandable because it's triggered these unresolved feelings from the past, feelings you didn't even know you had. Okay, so I did all that work for 2 years. And so I became a better person. Not all men have done that work, and not all women have done that work, but I became so much more loving and so much more powerful as a man, because to feel both high levels of estrogen from all that healing and emotional work and high levels of testosterone, to feel that I'm powerful. Now, see, as a child, I really wasn't powerless. I was powerless, but now I'm capable of growing up and knowing that I can find love again. That's a very important thing.
Yes. Big.
Very big. Now that's for men. That's a testosterone thing. I can create a relationship. I know how to do it. And that's A. But for a woman, a lot of the dynamic of starting over is trusting again.
Big, huge.
Trust is a major issue for women, more so than for men. Confidence in what I can accomplish and what I can do is a testosterone producer. But trust, meaning I can depend on others, and I can depend on myself to attract others that are right. That trust is the most important thing for estrogen. So in order to heal from past relationships, and what we have to do is recognize that we're not victims. It's so easy to feel like we're victims because when we don't understand how we contributed to the problems in the past.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important. That's why I've got 2 books I was thinking about recommending. One is, of course, I'm assuming most people have read Men Are From Mars, but I've updated it with Beyond Mars and Venus. Those are
and it's so good. It's so good.
So key book. And for example, how a woman who follows a man into his cave, he just goes deeper into the cave. And then she wonders, why didn't I get the love I deserve? Well, you went deeper into the cave. And what you have to do when a man pulls away, I just counseled a woman today. She's saying, what am I supposed to do? He's in his cave. I say, you're supposed to be happy.
Right. Let him be and do your own work if you're uncomfortable.
That's right. That's your job. And if we can really get that the power to fall in love with the right man, attract the right man, have the guidance system is to be happy, but at the same time feel I'd be much happier if I had a man in my life. That's very, very key to admit that. I'm happy, but I'd be much happier if I had a man. And once you have a man, is to recognize whenever you're feeling dissatisfied, that's a time where you have to come back and find your happiness, because you're always going to get more in your life when you're happy and fulfilled, as opposed to looking at what's wrong. But once you're on your male side, you've been single for a while, that pushes you to your male side. You're already living in a culture that's pushed all women to their male side. uh, it's just, it's great that women can be on their male side. Then you don't get stuck in an awful relationship. You can feel like, well, if I'm the wrong person, I can move on. I can take care of myself. And that's really good. So it's an evolution shift. I love that. But the challenge for women is how to get back to your female side. You're making testosterone. Anytime you're independent, you're making testosterone. Anytime you're dependent, you're making estrogen.
Right. And you were just talking about, being successful and achieving. And so here are so many women that have brought up the kids, they've started careers, and they've learned that they can take care of themselves. And so I really want to underline what you said, which is you may not, soul sister, if you're listening right now, and this is you, it's okay to say, I would love to have a man to enhance my life. And it's about enhancing it, not giving you all your happiness. That's your job. That's your unpacking. Like John, you just said, it's like you took 2 years to look at what the devastation was about. In addition to losing your beloved, there was a lot of charge there. And that's what we all have to do to be able to show up in these relationships authentically and open. And yes, women are holding a lot of masculine energy right now, and it's pushing men away, and they're not feeling the pull toward them either. And that's a huge problem.
Wow, you said it so beautifully. So the dynamic there is when you're on your male side, you take on male tendencies, and a male tendency is it's no big deal. I can handle it. I'm fine. Every woman knows. You say your husband, what's the matter? Nothing. No problem. I'm fine. I'm good. No problem.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. That's what is, and I'll solve this problem. Okay, so that's your male side. Now, when my wife died, I wasn't just the whole time she was dying, I was on my male side, never crying or upset or feeling sad or feeling lonely or feeling bad. No, we're going to solve this problem. We're going to solve this problem. But then when it didn't get solved, boom, I was kicked over to my female side, which needed to be healed.
Absolutely.
And by talking about my feelings, exploring my feelings, relating them to my past, then I was able to come back and balance my masculine, feminine energy. So now I have a balance more than I ever had before. So you can be a better person if you had a devastating loss, if you know how to handle the loss. Okay. So it's a matter of processing those feelings, which I do outline in my books, how to process feelings. And Beyond Mars and Venus, and also in my book, Mars and Venus Starting Over. If I look at my emotional teaching, how to process pain, the best book I've written is called Mars and Venus Starting Over. It really goes deeply into the recognition that everything you're feeling now is a trigger to help you heal something from your past. But simultaneously with all that, you don't even know you're triggered as much because you're on your male side, which is going to be able to minimize it. Well, I'll find the right person. I'll keep dating, or I'll not date. You make all these decisions. Now, I talked in my book, Beyond Mars and Venus, 33 different decisions women make to avoid their feelings. Okay. It could be my children need more from me, or I can't trust men, or I don't want another child. There's a lot of dynamics we rationalize.
Yep. A lot of reasons.
And really it's about, I'm afraid to trust again.
Yeah.
And mentally you might be thinking, no, I'm ready to go. I'm out there doing this whole thing, but I just don't feel the attraction. Now that's the key. What helps you feel the attraction is your feelings. And you have to wake up that part of you that has passion and excitement, and that's your female side. But the doorway to that is often to feel the emptiness inside of you, the sadness, the despair, the hopelessness. You look in the mirror, I'm not the same woman who attracts all that attention. I'm not as beautiful, and the insecurities and doubts. Will every man really love me? And, I just not know how to do it. Am I jinxed in life? There's a lot of unresolved feelings inside. They're all lies we tell ourselves, right?
And it's supported by our culture and on Hollywood, and everybody's getting face jobs and boob jobs. And we look and go, well, I don't look like that. Who's going to love me in this body? And all of these beliefs are getting in the way of us being able to really drop in and heal and open, where these tough chicks, and we're like, I don't want to get burned. I don't want to get hurt. And that's going to not work out too well when it comes to starting over.
You're just hitting right on the nail, Ginny.
Well, I listen to you. I read your books. And I'm a shadow worker. So I get this. I get this emptying out. Because
the dance is to go into the shadow, come back from the shadow.
We have
and
to empty out. Yeah.
and you have to empty out to draw in the right person for you. And, one of the dynamics of drawing in the right person is definitely don't pursue any man.
Not pursuing men. I get this question all the time. Should I text him back? Should I ask him out? What do I do? It's been 2 days. It's been 5 days. Take it away, John. Help this soul sister out how to navigate these very unique waters of who should go first. What should I do? I don't want to be too pushy, too much, all of that.
Okay. Let me give you a phrase for everybody to write now, which is if you, after a date with a guy, you just say, or even to start a date, you have the phrase, there's this amazing art show. Do you want to take me next Saturday? See, there you're not setting up the date. You're putting it in his hand. It's a magic phrase. And I couldn't come up with that phrase. My daughter, Lauren, did. And Lauren teaches this stuff as well. And I just want to give you a plug for all the different messages you can put in your texts and all the different comeback statements. She's got a 6-week course on this for women only. And it's called How to Get Your Me Time. Because what we're talking about is in your me time, you have to learn in a relationship how to keep finding your happiness. Because you all know that once you fall for a guy, you're messed. It's kind of like your whole life gets shaken up.
Yeah. These relationship things, John, this is an interesting journey we've taken on, huh?
Yeah. And so that's learning and detail from another woman, the you time, me time, you time, me time, we time solution, which is we time stimulates estrogen, me time stimulates your progesterone, and you time produces your testosterone. And most single women are pretty much in you time producing testosterone. Yeah. Or they're just doing things for me when they need to be doing things for we. And how to create that. That's why the most powerful dating phrase, I just love it, which is, do you want to take me here? And just let that be a text. And
right.
On his side. So, it takes courage to do that. Right. So the first step here in terms of how to don't pursue a man, very, very important. Don't even listen to the part of your body that wants to pursue him if it's below the waist. If you feel any attraction and you've been single for a while, it's the wrong guy. You just have to know that. You want a guy who is more attracted to you than you're attracted to him. That gives you more power. Power is very important so that you can try out new dating skills. If you don't have more power in the relationship, what happens is you go into your subconscious conditioning and all of your bad behavior comes out. Bad behavior, I mean by people pleasing or complaining. Whatever things have sabotaged your relationships in the past will come up. Sure. And so it's the key is to listen to that little desperate voice. I'm getting older. Am I going to find somebody with, and all the reasons why. And
pet her and go, it's okay. It's okay. But we can't listen to you right now.
I'm not going to listen to you now. What we're going to do, or we're going to process you now. That's another
That's
thing.
true too. Okay, absolutely.
Time to process, because processing means you engage with your most negative emotions, feelings, and thoughts with the context of it all is going to be released.
Yes.
All is an overreaction. It's all a bunch of lies. It's all fake news. Okay.
Yes.
It's what is it? Disinformation. That's the big word. So whether it's the disinformation, but you've got to listen to it and then say it's disinformation. That's processing skills, which takes processing skills. Okay.
Yeah.
Having said that, you want to create a man who's more interested in you, or several, basically. It doesn't have to be just one, because you're not putting out, you're not investing anything. They're having to invest in you. That's the most important thing. As if you're house shopping. You know what happens when you're house shopping is basically, if you're out house shopping and you decide, oh, this is the one for me, you're looking for the best house, the best deal. As soon as you say, oh, this is good, what happens is your brain goes into, okay, what's wrong with it? You become hypercritical, hyper-judgmental.
Yeah.
When my daughter bought her house, the day we bought it, now we have to put escrow. Now we have to hire somebody to see what's wrong with the house. Do we really want it?
Yeah, because the fear starts bubbling up. You don't want to make the same mistake. Oh, the last house, I thought it was great. And then we found out the roof was leaking. So Here we have a lifetime of relationships that went south, or we lost people, betrayed. So it makes sense. It's like, oh, it's exciting. Oh, shit. Now what?
That's right. That's it. So you want to create a series of dating experiences with the wrong guy, so to speak, except he's the right guy for you to practice with. And what you're going to practice is a whole new set of experiences. Otherwise, well, he's not the right guy. Otherwise, he's not, well, he doesn't have this. He doesn't, your mind just picks and picks and picks and picks if you think you're looking for the right guy or he seems to be the right guy. So he is the right guy to learn to process what's inside. He's not going to trigger all your judgmentalness and criticism, whatever. But what you do with him, now you've got this guy who's more motivated to please you than you are to please him. That's a healthy dynamic. The second step is that you use him to create estrogen in your body. Okay. So you use him. So you see, if this is some catch, oh, I found the right guy, then you're going to, do I call him? Do I not call him? Do I say this? Do I not do that? All that stuff, none of it's going to work because you're coming from desperation.
Right.
With wisdom here is use him to come back to your female side. So part of using him is making sure that teach him how to listen. So you're on a date. You should talk 3 to 4 times more than him. And you should actually take the biggest thing, which is, it's always good in dating to put your best foot forward, but part of your putting your best foot forward is being authentic and loving.
Be you. Come from your heart and be authentic. Yes. What a concept, right? But it's hard for people to do when they have this bag full of experiences and their fear. And is this the one?
Yeah. So you don't want the one yet. You want to process, be able to talk to a guy and do what I call in my Beyond Mars and Venus book, a Venus talk. A Venus talk is being able to share what's going on in your life, the negativity inside of you. Like, for example, oh, I'm so frustrated with my job. I've been there. I haven't got the raise. I feel like I'm not appreciated. And he's going to think, oh, this is a downer. And then you just go, oh, I just need to talk about this and then I'll feel good. Or he said, he'll give you some advice like, oh, you ought to quit that job. Then, you deserve better. Oh, no, really. I feel so safe with you and comfortable with you. I'm just sharing a little bit about my day. You don't have to say anything for a few minutes and then I feel better. And then you should feel better. He should be able to see you go from this authentic person who has, I feel disappointed that, I've been working at this job. They're not doing this for me. I'm concerned that maybe I'm going the wrong job or every day we're actually full of various frustrations, concerns, worries, or even feelings of embarrassment. Oh, you want to be attractive to a man? Reveal embarrassment. What that does is says, wow, amazing. I could have some value with her, because it takes a lot of humility to have embarrassment. And you have to realize you're on your male side all day. You can't reveal your vulnerability. You can't reveal your mistakes. You've got to be, I'm the best, I accomplish, I achieve. So part of using a man is sharing things that you don't share with anybody else.
I love it.
But there's an art to this Venus talk where you just take a little bit of time on frustration, disappointment, concerns, or even embarrassment. And then you let it go. You just say, but I'm so grateful. This is the key thing. I'm so grateful, blah, blah, blah. I'm really happy because I get to do this and this and this in my life. So you become more expansive. Usually negativity is focused tight. So then you become expansive, but I'm just so grateful. I'm happy. I'm confident and I'm proud of myself. That's called a Venus talk. Now what that does, that whole series is emotions from negative to positive without being serious about it. See, it's heaviness, but you're feeling it. And just to share it, because then you feel connected. Somebody's hearing a part of you that you don't share with everybody, or you only share with certain girlfriends. Now you're sharing with him, but you don't want him to do this. Okay. That's putting him on his female side. You just want him to listen. So you start using a man, just like all the women that come to me for therapy, they're using me to feel good. I had a woman today. She feels terrible about her husband, blah, blah. I said, let's forget about solving the problem and just you learning to feel good right now because you're not feeling good at all. And just helping her learn those emotions. Now, if you have a therapist who knows how to do this, that's great, but you can do it yourself. You can learn to do it. I give examples in my books, how you do it, how you express this. You can write it out, but you can use a date to do it. So that's one thing. You use him to make you happier. And so the second thing is authenticity doesn't mean if you disagree with him to argue with him about it. Okay. Because think about anything that doesn't sound loving and supportive and positive is not really you. So that's the really you part. Now, the second part is blame, criticism, all that stuff pushes a man down and he can invoke it out of you. He might say something that you disapprove of. And then you say, well, I disagree with that. How could you think that? And so now he'll defend himself and then you'll argue back and forth. That's a possibility as well. don't waste your time.
Yeah, that's not going to work so well.
Doesn't ever work. Doesn't ever. So authenticity doesn't mean just blow out whatever you think or feel, because so much of what we think and feel is part of our shadow rather than our true self.
Exactly.
But use him to heal your shadow by not throwing it on him. See, the interesting thing is women will share everything with me in counseling, and they go, why can't my husband do this? I said, because you're not blaming me.
Right. They're projecting all over their partner. And then there, of course, there's going to be a challenge there. Yeah, I totally get it. Absolutely.
You're upset about, a husband tends to take it personally, unless, now we're talking about marriage, but that's important for all of you women to know, because you are in relationships, and in relationships, you have to realize to really be free to trust yourself again and to trust men again. If you can look back to your past relationships and recognize, oh, I shouldn't have done this. And oh, I did that. And oh, I did that. And yes, he did all these mistakes too, but you also made mistakes. Yeah. It's very important to create self-confidence inside and trust inside. That's why reading the Men Are From Mars book, if it was more traditional, Beyond Mars and Venus, it was less of a traditional relationship, meaning you had a job, you're independent. Another one I just thought about when you introduced me about women are looking for conscious men, or we talked about it. Conscious men. Actually, I wrote a book about this because so many women where are the conscious men? I said, well, they're all over the place. They're just conscious of how to make money. They're not conscious of what women need.
Ooh, so true. And ouch. And because women, I see women working at doing the shadow work and really learning their hearts and what they want and being able to be vulnerable, like you're sharing, to be able to be on that first date and go, yeah, I had a really rough day. Let me share it. And thank you so much for holding the space for me. So you have that honoring as well as that estrogen boosting, as you just said. And then where are the guys that are doing the work? I'm not seeing as many men do that.
They don't need to do that work. What they need is a woman to use him to do her work with, because you can do that work alone. But if you do it with a man, you actually make him more conscious of his inner world. See,
I'm smiling because I have a partner and I'm not going to be specific just for privacy, but you're literally saying what's happening. Let's just say that.
Men are conscious. They're just as conscious as women, but of the outer world, women were conscious of the inner world. And by using him, training him how to listen to your inner world, he wakes up to his inner world. So you're transforming him as he supports you in your transformation process. And it doesn't go the other way around.
Yeah, okay, no, it's interesting.
The male role is to penetrate. That means he goes into you. Don't try to go into him. Don't try to help him. Any relationship based on a woman helping a man is weakening his testosterone.
Yeah.
He needs to be there for it. It's not like, do you want to go to this picnic this weekend? That's a weakening thing. Don't care about what he wants. It's let him know what you want. And what you do is just say, hey, I'm looking forward to going to do this thing this weekend. Will you take me? Would you do? And even more powerful is, do you want to take me? And he's going to go, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. And suddenly he's just been led. Now he gets to be the hero, right? Like now he knows what you really want. He's going to put a smile on your face, which is what you really want to, and everybody wins. But if you're saying you never take me anywhere, or I'm doing everything by myself, and would you do, there's just such a finesse and energy when we're coming from love and calling in this partner to meet us in this way. It's such a different energy.
Oh, you do such a good teacher. You're such a good teacher. And
thank you. That's such a compliment.
So an example of what you just said. So here I am, and it's in my marriage, but it applies in other situations.
Of course.
So Bonnie wanted me to pick up some milk, and she asked me 2 or 3 times, and I kept forgetting because I'm coming home from work thinking about my problems, and milk's not on the high level. Okay. But she's like a little kid. She needs milk for the kids. So there I'm watching TV and I'm exhausted. I'm in my cave that day, and I'm coming out, I'm climbing the stairs to go to bed. And she starts to follow me. She sees, oh, he's walking. So she walked along.
He's walking. Okay. That's hysterical.
So she basically said, oh, John, while you're up, would you go to the store and pick up the milk? And she didn't say, I've asked you 3 times. See, she didn't skip all that. She just said, as if the first time really is the tone of her voice. She said, would you pick up some milk? We'd love it in the morning. And I went, oh, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. She could have said, I've asked you 3 times. I might as well do it myself. Didn't say any of that stuff. She gently, she leaned in. That's the secret of men. Lean in with love.
Yeah.
Like a phrase, lean in with love.
It's a good title.
Yeah. So here you're leaning. And so, and she just let it like go nowhere. It's like, she didn't respond. I said, yeah, I'd really like to, I'll get it tomorrow. Then she continues to follow me into the bedroom. And I sat down to take off my shoes and socks. And she sat down next to me and she said, it would just be so nice if you went right now. And I went, yeah, but I'm really tired. I just want to go to bed. And then she said, yeah, I know you work so hard. I can see you're so tired. So in my brain, you have to know what a man thinks in his brain. I'm not thinking, oh, good, I'm getting out of this. Okay. And at the same time, I'm thinking she's being so nice about this. And then she just basically said again, it would just be so nice. And all right, I'll get up. I'll do it. And that's called a man's grumbles. Most women don't understand a man's grumbles, so they don't lean in with love. They're afraid he's going to grumble. And it's devastating to be rejected. So I'm not going to push it. I'll just get
and he's going to think I'm too much and I'm too pushing myself. And, great.
And if in that moment when I'm grumbling and went out the door and skid my car out, okay, I'll go, and now I've been trained 20 years. I never would do that again, but I did it several times until I was trained. And the training is that, all right, grumble, grumble. And then I come home and she's got a big smile and says, thank you. That's the training. Without saying, I had to ask you 3 times, what do you want me to smile for that? Nothing like that. So it was not to believe a man's grumbles. And if you asked him, truly, if you said to me, well, she says, you seem so upset. What are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling I'd rather go to sleep than go get the milk. Okay. That's what I'm feeling. But see, for men, these emotions are very temporary. They're bursts of estrogen, because I'm now having to do something I don't want to do. Okay. So my estrogen I want to go back to sleep. That's me. That's my estrogen. Right. But as soon as I got in my car to get the milk, now I'm driving a car, testosterone will go back up.
Right. It's done. The estrogen's over. And now you're on a mission. And then you get to come home to a smile.
Yes. And that trains me that when she makes little requests, I get rewarded. Men don't know instinctively that when you do something a little sacrifice here, a little sacrifice there, how happy it makes a woman and how much she loves you as a result. He doesn't realize that. He thinks that's nothing. I'm working hard to make all this money. That's the big stuff. That's why you love me. But actually, he doesn't know it's a lot of the little stuff.
The little things. Oh my God. Yeah. You're reminding me, I just had a birthday weekend that was spectacular. And I had told, I enabled a little bit. I'm still learning this stuff too. I enabled my partner a little bit by saying, I would love to go listen to live music. And, I found this restaurant, maybe look into it for me. And then a couple of days before he said, oh, I looked into it and they don't have live music. Where do you want to go instead? And so I started researching and I was like, I don't want to research for my birthday. I want him to do it. So I said, honey, it would be so great if you can come up with something, whatever it is, it'll be wonderful. Because basically, really, he could do anything and I'd be happy. And he ended up creating the most magical day, brought me to the city, bought tickets for me, had reservations for this great, restaurant. And then we had a lot of pleasure time at the end of the day. It was perfect. And I said to a friend of mine, I well trained him. And my friend said, how does that feel that you've trained somebody? I'm like, well, no, you're getting it wrong. It's not that I've trained him with a whip and I'm like, this is what I want. I'm letting him know what makes me happy in a way that he can hear it. That's not putting him down. And that's why I have the relationship I have. And that's the opportunity here for women and men to have healthy relationships. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a man, I want everybody knowing what your approach, what really worked is, this is my birthday. I'd rather not plan it at all. Whatever you plan will be good enough for me.
Exactly.
That was the magic phrase right there. Whatever you plan, it will be good enough for me. And thanks for looking into it. And now, because it's my birthday, it will feel good if I don't even have to plan anything. But at the same time, I want you to know. Now, I'll tell you, as a couple, what my wife would do is she would just say, okay, it's my birthday. Here's 3 things I love to do. You decide and you tell me in a week. So I know how to prepare. So again, I feel like for women, it's very important. Although what you said is legit. There's no problem about that one. Okay.
And I totally agree with what you just said. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful option because sometimes, especially my partner, he doesn't really know what to do. You know, it's like, let me help him.
And often men are, they've had so many experiences of coming up with something for a woman in the past where she wasn't happy. So he thinks the solution is to say to you, well, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? And he thinks that's very romantic when you don't want to come up with the pressure of having to own responsibility for a date that he likes as well. Yeah. Often I say to my wife, what do you want to do? And she say to me, well, what do you want to do? Why she do that? Because she loves me, but also she doesn't have the responsibility of picking something that I might not want to do. And when I'm telling women, it's very important. Don't ask a man what he wants to do. It's more romance, and testosterone is about small sacrifices for her. See, when he is able to come up with something or make a choice or take the risk, you see, anybody who plans a date is taking a big risk. And if a woman comes up with the plan for the date, she takes a risk that her husband's going to, okay, I'll go. And,
so true. So true. And I'm always scared of that too, but I've come to a place where I'm like, okay, I know what this is about now.
But even still, if you just give him three choices, if a man owns a date, he won't grumble about it. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't. We also know grumbles are temporary for men. And the reason that's hard for women is usually a woman's grumbles aren't temporary.
Yeah. It's a little scary. It's like, oh shit, here comes the storm. When, let me look at my clock. How long is this going to last?
Well, it's a biological thing. If you have to make a sacrifice as a woman for a man, you do, if I said, honey, we want to have milk in the morning and I'm really tired, wouldn't you just go to the store? It's not that long of a thing. And then she says, no, I want to sleep. You can do it tomorrow. I said, no, really, it's the kids and you need to do it. I'm just so tired. So now I'm winning an argument with her to get her to do it. That's going to cause huge grumbles in her because her getting in the car makes testosterone. Testosterone, to solve the problem, doesn't lower her stress. You see, it's the estrogen, and estrogen is getting someone to do something for you, making your life more comfortable, your life more easy. So that's a hard thing for independent women. Besides being able to process the vulnerability inside, getting in touch with, I am lonely, I am happy. You don't have to tell them all that about you, but you have to connect with that part of you with a friend or with a journal, with God. And you have to have a good cry every once in a while and explore all the shadow negative beliefs. I'm too old. I won't have a man. Why would a man be with? I can't trust a man. All that stuff has to be cleaned out to some degree. At the same time, every time you go on a date and maybe you feel he's not the right guy, it will trigger those feelings. Don't put those on him. No, that's your shadow. But at the same time, use a man to share about your day. Use a man to plan dates for you. Use a man to not have sex right away. Okay, this is very important.
Yeah, this is good. I'm glad you brought this up. This is a huge thing that people ask.
You really have to have sex on your terms when you feel ready. A man doesn't need a personal relationship to have sex. And a woman on her male side doesn't need to have a personal relationship to have sex, but we don't want you on your male side. We want you on your female side that says, I need to be seen and heard and supported and safe to know that if I open myself up in that way, it's not like you're going to disappear or you'll be judgmental of me. There's a biological opening that happens when you feel seen and heard. Your mind opens, then your heart opens, then your body opens, and you really, really want to have sex and you enjoy having sex because it's in a personal relationship where you feel special. Because see, to have sex with somebody is something special you don't do with anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's very feminine. Think about high school girls, when they're learning about their femininity. I'm going to tell you a secret, you tell secrets and that's how you bond. Well, sex is something you do with someone very, very special. And so you don't just do that secret right away, particularly if you're feeling pressured to do it for him. Yeah. But at the same time, there's all this pressure on men besides the biological motivation. The cultural is now saying, if you're a man, she'll want to have sex with you. Okay. If you're an alpha man, if you're like a cool guy or whatever, she's going to want to have sex. You're going to score. Okay. That's what men call it, scoring, getting lucky, all that stuff. So when it doesn't happen, it's a downer for him unless you know how to communicate about it. The way you communicate about it is, oh, this is exciting. And then when he wants more, maybe you're making out and touching, you feel like doing that. And your body says, yes, I could go further, but your mind goes, wait a second, I haven't gotten what I need in this relationship to feel really good about this. So what you do is you say to him, I can't wait to do it, but I need to go slow. Well, why do you need to go slow? I'm an old-fashioned girl. That's okay to be an old-fashioned girl. You've just kept his ego from being knocked down. It's all about a man's ego.
So true.
And testosterone is all about a man's ego. It's like, look what I can do. Look what I've achieved. You know, I got my Bentley car. You know, I live in this beautiful house. I got these things, you know. That just makes your testosterone go up if you're a man. You know, I solved somebody's problem today. I put out the fire. I did something constructive. I cleaned the pool. Look how beautiful it is. You know, I just listed my things this week that bump up my testosterone. Besides, I just had great sex. Now, ultimately, great sex will push a man to the top, but sex is not going to be great unless she enjoys it. You can't fake it. The body has to know that if he connects with you in that most vulnerable way, that's when he's most sensitive to feeling like, am I successful? So if he has sex with you and you didn't get to the point truly where your body makes a high level of estrogen, you see, the high level of estrogen produces pheromones that tells his body that he was successful. And so his body will not be attracted to you, will decrease in its attraction for you if he doesn't get that message that he succeeded in fulfilling you. And if it's just a quickie, it's just I did it to satisfy him, you just lost him.
Yep. The opportunity's gone. Yeah. And then there's the consequences. The woman has opened.
I don't want to say it's all over. I'm just
saying, it's not over, but yes, exactly. But it has thrown a curveball into the progress of what's possible. And so the energy was moved. She didn't get to open fully to even increase his testosterone because she was still holding back and not completely ready. And yes, I totally get it.
So it's just kind of like it's a comfort for him. He relieved himself, but he didn't feel like I scored a home run.
Exactly.
Can't score the whole run. That's what makes a man bond with you. And he could score a home run just taking you on a date if you're happy on a date. And one of the mistakes women make, not understanding men's ego, and ego in a positive sense. You know, this is a guy who wants to make you happy, but he needs messages that he's successful to keep motivating you to be happy. And we don't want to look down at that. We just want to understand that's the male dynamic. And, you know, when I first started out, my eyes kept going to this book over here to right there, Conscious Men. I wrote that book because women were saying, where are the conscious men? And I made a mistake in marketing it because half of every chapter is for men to become more conscious. And the other half of every chapter is how women can help a man be more conscious. I should have said understanding men for women only, and then it would have been a big success. But
totally,
I sort of fell into the thing. We need to get men to read this book. Men don't buy these relationship books. And if you find one that does, usually they're too far on their female side and you have to train them to get back to their male side. But
wow. That's huge. So good. So good. All right, John. There's so many golden nuggets here. I just want to first, you've been mentioning all your delicious courses and books. I want to, make sure everybody knows that you can find all of the information with John at marsvenus.com. Of course, it'll be in the show notes. And John even was gracious enough to offer you a special gift, Soul Sister. It's his course called How to Get Everything You Want in Relationships for Women, Men, Couples, and Singles. And that's at marsvenus.com/gift. Again, it'll be in the show notes as well. Wow. So much here. And I think like my biggest takeaway or, underline with everything that you said is relax, be yourself. Well, it's not just one takeaway, be yourself. Empty out any of the stuff that's in your fear or causing you to jump and react. Learn how to talk to each other and coming from a place of love and not a place of blame or a place of fear. And that love beyond your wildest dreams is possible. And you didn't say that, but I know you believe that. I believe that you can really have a healthy, beautiful, hot relationship when you learn how to finesse and be able to understand the other person and, more importantly, understand you. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I think I want to add a little bit to that, which is to recognize what you're missing by not having a successful relationship is I need opportunities to connect with someone special who helps me connect with my female side. That's the key thing for women. So how do you connect with your female side?
Yeah.
And it's primarily through having a man do things for you, having a man do what's most important for you is to experience intimacy. And what does intimacy mean? It means into me, see. Okay,
Yes.
that's female intimacy. A man's intimacy is look what I've done. Okay, look what I can do. Okay, that's totally different.
So true.
But it's this to realize Maslow explained that we have different needs. Need for survival. And when that is met, then another need pops up that's just as important as eating and survival is security. And then when you feel safe and secure, and our civilization is giving you safety and security, then what comes up is your need for belonging. Okay, that's sort of your tribe. That's why you always need to have a support system of women. See, on a sexual level, you belong to other women to connect with them, to share with them. There's your support team, not men, to fulfill your need to belong. But then you get to this thing about self-mastery. Now, self-mastery is learning how to be happy without depending on a man. You can be happy without depending on a man. That means being in touch with your female side and balancing it a bit with your male side. So you're at a job, but you're also connected to your female side, which if you're lonely, you need to feel that, process that, link it to your past. That's self-mastery. That's loving yourself is another way of saying that. Then you're going to draw out the best of a man and you can use him because you now know what you need as a woman, connection. So I need to recognize that's very important to me. And what does connection look like? It doesn't mean trying to understand him. Don't penetrate him. It's usually when women are feeling afraid to go to the deeper level, they seek reassurance by wanting him to talk about his feelings, that he can do it. You get your reassurance by saying to men, oh, you don't need to say that. I'm just processing. It'll take me a few minutes and I'll be right back to my most happy, lovey self.
Oh, so good.
And you also mentioned a few things in the beginning, like, do I text him, whatever? You go on a date. He hasn't called back. What you do is that, it's the next week. You send him a text. It's called FYI text for your information only. You imagine him saying to you, now this is from my daughter's course. It's magnificent. She has all these great examples.
That's so cool.
And she said, imagine him saying, hey, how was your day today? So what you're going to do is little text. It's FYI. Just say, oh, today there's a new bagel shop that opened up. Actually, I got a croissant. It was heavenly delicious. Chocolate French bagel, croissant. Loved it. That's it. There's no call for action.
Right. There's no pressure. There's no, why haven't you texted? Are you not interested? I'd like to know what I did wrong.
Exactly. All that. Where are we in our relationship? I thought
it's like, talk about the pressure. And he's like, oh my God, she's texting me again.
There's no pressure. You're fulfilling a need that he has to remember that you're a happy person without him.
Oh, so good.
And some women even go so far to be afraid to do that. Why do I want him to think I'm happy without him? Then he won't think I need him. No, he's there to make you happier. Men just need messages. And I remember recognizing one time my wife, we're on a wonderful vacation and she said, oh, there's this restaurant we should go to. It's on a little island. And when the tide goes out, you can go walk to it and you get lobster and come back and there's music. It's really fun. And I had this sunburn and I was being grumpy. And she said, come on, we'll have fun. I said, no, I don't want to do it. And she didn't push me. She could have easily pushed me a few times. Oh, it'll be so much fun. Just come on anyway. It's all I needed, but she didn't do it. She went off. She came back and the kids, they all had the best time in the world. I said, bummer. Why didn't I go? I'm missing out. You see that whole thing of I'm missing out. If a man spends time with you and now he's away he's missing out on being with a happy woman. You don't know your power as women to realize how much men need that happiness, that feeling, positive feeling to feel alive.
So true. Yeah. And we have not been taught that. We haven't been taught that. We have not been taught how to communicate. We have not been taught how to do relationships. And we see dysfunctional role models. And thank God for your work. I mean, seriously, John, your groundbreaking, powerful work to help us really understand what's possible. And I know I've used a lot of what you've shared, and I continue to grow with what you share. Just really deep bow to your work and your dedication, because we all need it. And I'm so happy that you're doing what you do.
And so I just wanted to add one more thing.
Yes, please keep going.
We just said communication. Now, one of the simple, I like to at least give some simple tips. There's a lot more information in my books for sure, but simple tips you walk away today is another one. You're on a date with a guy, try this out. Good communication means when he speaks, okay, when you might have to initiate a question. Women ask too many questions because it gets men to talk too much. What you have to do is you to get the conversation going. Oh, you're doing this. What do you think about that? Anything about the day? Oh, they just started a war. What are they doing here? And get his thoughts. Listen briefly and say, wow, that makes sense. What a good idea. This is the magic phrases. That makes sense. Immediately he puffs up. Now you talk. You just make a transition.
Yeah.
Another one is, what a good idea. I hadn't thought of that at all. Now transition, change the subject even. You'll be done with it. Don't engage. See, women will go, oh, I know how much I want somebody to go deep into me. You're going to want to penetrate, ask more questions. How did it feel? What did you think? And never, ever ask a man, how did that feel? Just that's for therapy.
I'm laughing just because I'm like, oh gosh, I still have to work on that one.
don't ask it. But you can say to me, well, what'd you think about that?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
My wife
Such
and I,
a difference.
We used to watch movies and we put it on pause and, well, why do you think he's doing that? She'd ask me, why do you think? How do you feel about that? Is me going too far to my female side? We don't need men today too far on their female side because we're so much too far on our female side already.
Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely.
By you using him to come back to your female side, you're helping him be used, which is often women think, I don't want to just use it. Yeah, we like to be used as long as there's a reward. And the reward isn't always sex. The reward is your happiness.
Yes.
That's the metaphor, which men need, is the happiness. But they also are programmed to think, oh, now we should have sex or something. And soon, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. I mean, I actually have a client recently shared with me how she was starting to date somebody and he was giving so many things to her, taking her out, bringing her flowers, doing all these amazing things for her. And she was like, oh, I feel so much pressure to have sex with him. She's like, I really feel like I got to give back. I'm like, you're giving him the most amazing gift, your smile, your presence, your happiness. Every time he gives to you and you light up, that's priceless.
It is.
And let him know it's coming.
Yeah. So beautifully said. So we'll complete there. It's so wonderful.
John, thank you. Thank you. I mean, tears in my eyes. I'm just like, I cannot believe I had the privilege of spending time with you and being able to have so many golden nuggets to share with the women that are in my tribe. So again, thank you so much.
You're very,
deep bow to your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, you too. And Soul Sister, that's it for today. I know you were taking notes. I'm sure you're going to rewind. In the show notes, you'll find where to get his course and where to find his books. And until we meet again, take great care of that precious heart of yours. Mwah.